Hello everyone, we welcome you all to this week Tech Tuesday webinar on cleansing strategy for effective master data management using C360 SaaS and cloud data quality. Today's speakers are Kamal Abrol, who's a principal architect, and Akshada Sable, who's a solutions architect from CSA team. Before we start the session, let's go through some of the housekeeping tips. The webinar is for 1 hour that includes 15 minutes Q&A. You can post your queries in Q&A box, which will be answered at the end of the presentation. All participants will be muted during the presentation. The session will be recorded and it will be available on our InfoSupport YouTube channel and Success Portal where you can download the slide deck. Please feel free to submit your suggestion or feedback for this session in the post-webinar survey. The Success Portal is a micro-learning platform that offers free, unlimited learning to all the registered users. This feature-rich platform helps you learn and adopt to Informatica products better. The following are few important links that you can go over later. This will help you in your product adoption journey with Informatica. Over to you, Kamal and Akshada. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's Tech Tuesday webinar. The topic of discussion is cleansing strategy for effective master data management using C360 SaaS and the cloud data quality. The agenda of the entire webinar or the discussion will cover introduction to CDQ and CDI, which are nothing but the cloud data quality and cloud data integration offerings of Informatica's IICS platform. Next is understanding the cleansing or address verification use case, and then we will look into building the CDQ CDI pipeline to address this use case, followed by the MDM SAS introduction, the MDM bound integration with the CDQ, and then DAS, which is nothing but data as a service based address verification. Let us understand the cloud data quality and cloud data integration offerings of Informatica. Cloud data quality is a cloud data management service that quickly identifies, fixes, and monitors the data quality problems in the business applications. So there are many definitions to the data quality. So as we all know, data quality is a subjective term, right? So based on the industry that you are in, based on different business standards, different processes followed, the quality metrics differ. But what remains constant is meeting the quality of the data based on the business or the industry requirement. So there are two main characteristics: the high quality data and the process by which we achieve the high quality, which is nothing but continuous improvement and monitoring of the quality. So data quality is an iterative process which comes into 4 phases: discovering, defining, applying, and measuring. So Informatica offers a CDQ or the cloud data quality solution which allows you to do all this in a proper way or in a collaborative way. The term data quality relates to the processes and technologies for identifying, understanding, and correcting the flaws in data that support the effective information governance across different business processes and supports decision making. Right, so the tool that we provide available or includes a range of critical functions such as profiling, parsing, standardization, cleansing, matching, enrichment, and monitoring. As a part of this Tech Tuesday webinar, we will be focusing more on the address verification or validation of the addresses through CDQ. Let us look into cloud data integration, right? So cloud data integration is another offering of Informatica where we can integrate the cloud data quality with data integration, apply the quality to the sources, and publish it to the targets using various transformations. So cloud data quality allows you to create the transformations which are going to monitor or define the business rules, but when you have to apply it to the certain sources and targets, we will have to go for, or we will have to use the cloud data integration. So as you can see in the diagram on the screen, the middle layer is cloud data quality and integration, where you are going to define the rules, which could be a standardization rule, or which could be an address verification rule, or it could be the profiling rule, or it could be any business logic rule that you want to check against the quality, or in which you want to check the quality, and that will be applied against certain sources, right? So it could be your Oracle source, it could be any SaaS source like Salesforce or Workday, or it could be a big data source like Cloudera or Kafka. So the moment you have to apply those business rules against source and targets, we will have to create a mapping using cloud data integration. So access to the databases or the sources needs to be integrated with the data quality solution that we have created, and then that needs to be pushed or delivered to the respective targets using different transformations. That is why understanding of the cloud data integration is also important, because CDI or cloud data integration is the one using which you will be applying the logics that are developed within CDQ to different sources and pushing it to different targets. Now let us have a look at a specific quality use case, which is nothing but address quality. Right, so one of the most common data quality check is quality of the addresses, be it retail industry, finance industry, healthcare industry, or any other industry. The customer contact data is very important. Right, the contact data verification is the process where we verify the accuracy of the data for contacting people, right? So you have to understand that contact part is not just the name or phone number attached to the account in Salesforce or in any database that you are using, right? For example, it includes any data that you might use to contact the customers. It could be postal addresses, it could be email addresses, it could be phone number, it could be anything. So when we say a person's contact, it's not just the name and the phone number. It could be anything based on my requirement. Right, so address data is something that is unique to every customer, and it reflects customers' real life physical record or their existence in the real life. So when we get it wrong, they don't get the invoices, or they do not get the contracts or the product that you promised that you will deliver it to them. Right, so there's dissatisfaction at the customer end will generate real tangible cost that will cost a lot to your organization, or that cost organization has to bear. Right? So when your address quality is not met, it's going to cost you your money, it's going to cost you your customers, and it is definitely going to cost you strategically. Right, so you have to pay for the return departments to process the unavoidable return or redelivery. In between these processes to events, you have to pay for your customer service agents to deal with the case that they cannot fix on their own. Right, also this all is still makes sense if your operations are within one country or a particular city within the country, but this is excruciating when your business is global. Right, and on top of that, on top of the cost, it's going to cost you your customers, because bad address data means you pay the ultimate price of disappointed customers. To a customer, timely delivery is the simplest of the brand promises, and when that promise is broken, it leaves customer disillusioned with all your other brand building efforts. Right, so a memorable differentiator for any customer would be timely delivery, for which you will have to have the quality address. Now let us look at building this pipeline, which is nothing but CDI CDQ pipeline using the verifier transformation. So as you know, we are talking about the address verification or address quality use case in this demo or in this Tech Tuesday webinar. So we will be using the verifier transformation of CDQ, which is responsible for verification, and we will build one end-to-end pipeline which is going to read from certain sources, and then it's going to write it to the respective target. So we have source is nothing but which contains the input data, for which you will have to calculate the address quality, then followed by the cleanse transformation. So cleanse is another data quality transformation which will allow user to cleanse or standardize the data based on the requirement. So for example, if I have the address data coming in, and if it has trailing spaces which are unwanted, or if it is in the mixed case and I want to convert this to a lowercase or uppercase, all such activities I can do using cleanse transformation, followed by the actual verification, which can be done using verifier transformation. Now based on your requirement, you can use different modes of address verification. You can very well refer to the Informatica documentation page, which has details on which mode to use when based on your requirement. But batch interactive is the most commonly used for batch processing of the addresses, followed by writing the output to the target. Now once the address is verified, you might want to push it to the target, and if it is not verified, you might want to push it to the exception data or to a different bad record table. So that completely depends on your design. But what I'm trying to show over here is within this pipeline, the icons which are highlighted in yellow define the cloud data quality pipeline. right? So CDQ comes into the middle, and the source and target are nothing but the CDI pipeline, which is cloud data integration pipeline. So keep in mind, when you're developing CDI CDQ pipeline, you will have to define the DQ assets within CDQ service of IICS. And once that is developed, once you are sure the logic that you have built is accurate, you will have to move to the IICS, which is nothing but the CDI pipeline. So in this way, you can build a CDI CDQ pipeline which has end-to-end logic or end-to-end setup for validating the addresses. Now, based on your requirement, the configurations will differ. Configurations with respect to cleanse transformation, verify transformation might differ, but the logic or the flow remains same. Source, cleanse, verifier, target. In case if you want to add some additional transformations in between, like you have data coming in from two sources, you want to perform a join on two tables and then filter them, you are free to do that. But just remember, you will have to do this in the CDI pipeline. Now, most of you or some of you might be thinking like the topic of discussion is MDM SAS or address verification using CDQ and MDM SAS. Why are we discussing about data quality so much, right? So as I mentioned before, MDM should never get the duplicate or bad data, and hence it is must that we process the data through data quality phase, validate it against the input to ensure the quality of the data. Right, so we have to remember that data quality is a process. It's not a time-bound project. So when we run our input data through CDQ phase, the maximum of the data is going to pass through the validations, and we are going to push it to MDM. But obviously there will be some data, bad data, which is generated and that needs a revaluation. Right, so if we pass the bad data to MDM, it's going to definitely impact the MDM match and merge, MDM rules, or MDM hierarchy, and that will have bad quality, bad data. If MDM has bad quality data, it will definitely impact the performance of the entire MDM SAS project. And that's why ensuring CDQ or quality well before the data reaches MDM is very important. And that's why we will be introducing, or it is recommended to introduce CDI CDQ pipeline before the MDM SAS project. So this is from the CDI CDQ perspective and building the pipeline. Over to you, Kamal, now to introduce the MDM SAS solutions and how the DaaS offerings can be introduced in MDM SAS.
Hello, good evening, good morning, everyone. My name is Kamal, and I'm technologist working with Informatica from last 6 years and under our customer success umbrella. Okay, so yeah, thanks Akshita for covering at least the cleansing use case. By now, audience are aware, and CDQ, CDI terms and their architecture, right? And even building the CDQ, CDI pipeline using verifier. Just a very high level overview. At least by now, you guys are much more aware, right? So these three things are covered, and next 4, 5, 6 items I'll be covering. So let's look at the fourth item, which is IDMC data pipeline. Let's look at at least the holistic view of how our MDM SAS tool looks within IDMC data pipeline, and like where it lies and what services it utilizes, what enrichment it needs, right? So along with the contact data, which I'll be covering, how we can validate, enrich any kind of contact data, right? And that is very much critical to any organization to set the mailers or the delivery addresses, or how, I mean, to any way, any form how we can reach to customer, right? The contact data should be must. So that we'll see how we can verify and enrich it, and along with the demo, live demo from the tool itself. Okay. Okay, so let's cover the fourth point first, that is holistic view of IDMC data pipeline, emphasizing on MDM SAS, okay, and DaaS. Okay, so how this specific IDMC complete platform built by Informatica delivers everything under one platform. Like, so you must be like wondering, within MDM we do mastering, right? So mastering is not the only thing Like it's this is not the very first step. We come to a tool and we do start creating the masters, right? We have to ingest the data, we have to prepare the data. So all these things uh, uh, are the prerequisites for our MDM SAS tool, C360 SAS, what we call, right? So for that, you must understand how IDMC pipeline looks like, and what is the best practice to align this, to build this pipeline, right? Uh, for Business 360 implementation, success implementation, right? So very first thing, right? Any detail would be needed, right? So data sources can be of any length, breadth. We cover all, and the Informatica, a lot of connectors are there, right? Can be relational, S3, different formats, right? Data lake is there, Azure data lake. So all other when I talk about, so all type of sources are supported in batch and real-time mode, right? And there are connectors associated to it. So, so very first thing is to deploy the CDI tool to, if you're looking for a batch-based integration, that is the next step of data ingestion, right? So how we can ingest the data, and ingestion, what I mean is like any source and target, right? Even like batch-based streaming API, so all are covered by our CDI and CEI tool. So CDI is cloud data integration developed by Informatica, specifically focusing on the batch-based integration, right? And it's scalable, like uniform, extensible, like volumes can be easily matched, and we have customers running millions of data, like going through this CDI tool, right? And finally ingesting into the Business 360 configuration. So the point which I'm trying to make is data ingestion is the second step which you should be aware, and third step is the preparation. Now for preparation, for ingestion, now we are aware we need data integration service, right? And for preparation, definitely we need some of the data quality rules, and also not just data quality, data profiling also, right? So profiling, parsing, then cleansing, standardizing, and finally enriching. So once we do the profiling, so that is where we get to know how what kind of rules we have to build within data quality, because you get to know the length and breadth of your data, right? So the more accurate the rules, the more accurate will be our matching output or matching outcomes, right? So that's where the data quality comes into picture, and like this can be reused at the batch layer also, and at the Business 360 layer also. When I say batch layer, I mean CDI layer also, because there can be few rules which are source specific, but we recommend you to have rules associated with your business entities directly, not specific to your sources. Obviously there will be a data quality rules built based on source profiling data, but you can associate with that with the business entity attributes, right? So that's why these three errors are coming into picture, where you can utilize the rules. Now once we have the rules ready, it's like a fourth pointer is the mastering, right? So mastering is actually the magic what we are doing within MDM, loading the data, doing match, merge, relationships, 360 UI, role-based layouts, everything, right? Uh, Configuring multiple domains, product master, customer supplier, use case specific, like Salesforce Accelerator is also there to like ingest the data. We have life insurance accelerator. Multiple accelerator is used to jumpstart this complete Business 360 uh, uh, adoption, right? Service adoption. So once we have the mastering ready and we have the golden records ready, we can again do the batch-based integration, even triggered integration into your downstream applications, like any applications, or data lake, or warehouse, right? So this is a typical use case for batch-based integration. right? For volume integration, but there are use cases which are linked to real-time integration also, specifically for data records. So we have like unstructured data. We can directly utilize a CEI for real-time or near real-time integration. We can have mini batches also, right? So these so next step is the data publishing, and finally we can consume the data. So this is the agenda or motive of this slider to show you is how Informatica delivers all in one umbrella. Okay, utilizing the key IDMC services. Now the complete webinar revolves around cleansing use case, right? And I want to stick to that use case. For that, we'll be covering data as a service, because contact data is one of the most trusted and critical elements of any enterprise, so that you can reach out to your customer in terms of correct addresses, correct emails, and correct phone. So I'll be focusing more with a live demo on DAS, and where all this DAS will be deployed is at the CDI layer, the business 360 layer, and where you can build at the CDQ layer, you can build those DAS rules, and it comes with the out of the box verifier also, that is called address verifier. We have email and telephone also, DAS specific engine that we are going to discuss. Okay, so I hope this is very much critical slider to understand how you can build a closely coupled pipeline for mastering your data, and what type of services you must have in your complete MDM SaaS platform to have a successful implementation and utilize the optimal services uh, and achieve your ROI in a short time. Because if you plan to reduce or minimize any of these services, you might land up with your own like limitation, pros and cons. Because ultimate output is to have clean, consistent 360 view of golden record, right? So that's why these services are very much essential, and these steps are very much essential. Okay, so let's look at now the cleansing use case on these top of like on your master record, that is DAS, and where we can deploy it. So the point which I'm trying to cover is DAS in IDMC. So DAS in IDMC usually utilizes data quality, MDM, customer 360, business 360 services, right? And so for real-time integration also, and for batch-based integration also, we can deploy even at the CDI layer. Okay, so which I'll show you at the demo. Okay, but where actually DAS is deployed, that's where this slider shows, and it also called as CDQ verifier, cloud data quality verifier. We can have address, email, phone. Okay. So the problem, what is the problem which we are trying to solve? Let me reiterate to even connect the audience which are not much aware about the problems. So many times we have seen like a email address, even the domain is invalid, or typos are there by the staff, sales reps, right? Data coming from multiple sources, so even no consistency in addresses. Some have the postal code, not the entire state, city, county, right? So some of the emails even go out of date, I would say. Okay, so uh, person leave their job or change their phone number. So everything has to be validated and enriched as per this DAS engine, and used to have the latest data. So that is the problem which we are trying to solve, and that's why I say how contact data goes wrong and what cost any enterprise will bear. You can think it can multifold, right? So that's where this problem is critical, and your contact data is so much uh, like important to an enterprise, because this is the only data whom you can reach out to your customers in terms of delivering something, in terms of reaching out via phone or email, marketing, MSN, anything. Contact data must be appropriate, latest, and validated. Okay, so let's move. Now, what our capability is in terms of tool. So we used to verify this addresses, whether it is a deliverable address. So we have certain kind of verification status, result quality, what address we are pushing into our MDM SAS, and we have certain status like whether it will be deliverable address or not deliverable address, right? So I'll explain those status codes, phone validation, email validation, verification, right? So even domain-based verification, even actual like whether it is a valid email or not, even we are enriching the addresses based on the postal codes. We are adding those country, state, city, right? So even enriching their location also based on some of the key parameters, and we have even supplementary data also for specific countries, around 17 countries. But address verification works for 240 plus countries. It's only the supplementary data, uh, like uh, like some of the key attributes specific to each country which we are maintaining. So I'll explain all those details, even reverse geocoding, email hygiene, right? How we are enriching country-specific data points. So this is the tool capability. I will see the demo also, but yeah, I want to show you. So what type of modes we support? Like, is it batch-based or real-time? So we support both actually, right? And batch-based. So this is like a web service we can consume in any web forms or any user interface. They can consume the address verification, phone, email, web service, the REST service. They can pass on the data and consume the enriched data, validated data, right? And they can utilize in real time, right? So this is again one of the way to utilize the DAS. Second way is like in form of pushing the data in a form of batch based, like big file is there, addresses are there, and you want to enrich it, right? Validate it first of all, then you can go for enrichment. So that is again a batch based service where you can push the data to a shared location. Your CDI engine will pick up the complete file, process it with our address verifier, what we call address doctor in the on-prem world, right? So, but this is like much more much more advanced with the version which we are supporting. That is the sixth version, right? Even 6.3 is the latest, so much more enhanced capabilities from address doctor, right? In terms of properties and from standardization. So this is again a batch-based approach, which I'll be demoing also demonstrating. Okay, so address verification will begin with, then we'll move on to other stuff. So like I said, 246 plus countries, up to room number data, batch cleansing, real time, even type ad, you can type and you can get all those options of suggested addresses based on geocodes. So you can based like a mobile use case, if you have some coordinate, we can reach out to your location with the complete address based on just coordinates. So even enrichments, like I was talking about the supplementary data for some set of countries, right? So this is verification. We are verifying whether it is a deliverable address or not, right? I'll be explaining each thing via flowchart, how, what, and how we are doing. So for few countries, we are having even postal certifications also, right? But we address verification works for 240 plus countries. But when it comes to certified postals and accreditation, these are the uh, 6 countries, I would say, are supported easily. Additional to verification as well, right? Now, how it works and what magic it does. For going to the demo, let's look at what magic it is doing on the screen, and then we can see over the tool also. Okay, so first of all, like it's a complete process, right? We are not just validating it, we are enriching also. So for that, we have to parse, analyze, maybe our data is in different script, right? So even transliterate to literature to Aladdin script, so you can see a non-Latin data. So this is what we call reading of your data set. Unstructured data set like 7031. So this is a house number. So unstructured data set can be parsed into a proper attribution form, like we are added attributes for each specific relevance data, like house number, street, sub-building. This makes more sense to any organization, right? So again, then we can have incorrect input addresses also, like instead of C we have G. That's a typo, right? So this is also being verified and corrected, right? Using address verification. You'll have again formatting also, and finally enrichment, like geocoding, country specific supplementary data, which I was talking about. Like we can have more attributes specific to country, like census data for US, right? So those can be enriched also with additional attributes, right? And geocoding is also there, right? So this is how your address verification works on the slide. Right? Let's look at on the tool, and we have address doctor engine plus country reference data. So it's not just a plain address doctor what we used in the on-prem world. We have to provide the license, which I'll be showing you, which can download the reference data from an S3 location to the secure agent location, right? Based on the configuration of address verifier we do in our IDMC platform, right? So you can have verified, corrected, standardized addresses. Let's see the demo directly now. Okay, so for demo, this is actually the IDMC tool complete, and we are under data integration service, right? And we are using the address verifier for batch-based ingestion, right? We have volume of addresses, and we want to cleanse it, validate it, and enrich it, right? Simple. We are using our out-of-the-box verify. Just drag and drop and have your source and target. That's it. Nothing else you have to do. So we can see the sources also. See from where it is getting the data. See the source file. Go over here. Locations, India address parts multi-line is the file. That yeah, here it is. So this is India address parts multi-line. You can open this file. Let's plan to run first. Then we can show you the file till the time it will run. So if I run it, this is the file. Here's some mapping. Let's open it again. You can open the mapping from here. Directly run this mapping, same mapping, running it. This requires secure agent, right? Run the mapping. Simple source, target, and verify. We didn't do anything. Just this is started running. So that's it. Let it run first. Okay. Now we'll go into the source file which you downloaded, right? So this is the file which has to be corrected, right? And validated at least, like how many. This is for India country, but we can have, like I said, 240 plus countries are supported. Postal accreditation also is there for some of the countries. Supplementary data is also there for 17 countries. But yeah, validation is for 240 plus countries, right? So let's see if we are able to validate this data, right? Using. So once our job is now running. Let's look at where it will throw out the output file. We'll go again into the mapping. We'll see the target. See the target here. Okay, go to the target directly. Job. Tran. Yeah, I ran just now. Okay, so you can see 26 records are success. And we can see in the file also. Yeah, 26 records are there. First is like the header. Okay, so this has been loaded. Now even validated. Let's see the target. Yeah, this was the finding, right? In the target also. Yeah, verifier 6 P6 IND. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is this is, if you see over here, we are having a verification status code like A and result quality. This actually tell us like whether a particular address would be deliverable or what kind of probability of deliverable are there for these addresses, right? So now let's understand what are these verifications code and result quality, right? So and how we can make sure that this is a good address or we need to enrich this address, right? So let's go to for tech. I'm sharing the right tech. So if I go over here, now address verification status. So when you say we have V6, right? So this address would be considered deliverable, right? And we have some yellows also, but it comes with a caution. Orange definitely like address is invalid, right? So and red definitely not valid. So this kind of address verification status will allow you to see whether the output which you want in terms of checking the address validation is okay or not. Then you can go for the enrichment. Okay. Again, I will move to the tool itself. Okay, so for the demo, this is actually batch based. We can even go ahead and see how we do in MDM SAS itself, right? So okay, here if you see, we are opening customer 360 SaaS service, right? And let's see the real-time enrichment within MDM SAS of addresses. Let's suppose I'm creating the customer directly, right? Let's suppose. Okay, so it's my name. If it exists, then our clear engine will tell us how many it will exist. That is okay. But yeah, I have something like this way. And this is okay. We plan to add incomplete address, not invalid, but incomplete address. Country would be definitely mandatory because we have. I'll show you the address verification setting also. It works based on the country because we have to download all those reference data files from our based on the license to the secure agent location. Shared one address and let me share some of the other things also. Let me share just address line one. Okay. These are mandatory fields required to enrich any address, validate and enrich both. Up till now, we have seen only validation. Let's see if it went into a mode of enrichment also. Okay, so if I go over here, try to submit this. only 225 Baker Street is given, nothing, state, city, everything, nothing I've given. We'll go over here. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Remember, we have given only 225 Baker Street and postal code. So I did Atlanta also. Even not just this, we have this enrichment indicator. If you remember, we have seen A6. So these are the kind of will tell you whether this verification is correct address or not. So Atlanta County, these are being added by the address plus like a verifier, and they are treating it a good address. So A6 is there, and I've shown you, I believe, for the deck like A6. A6 is generally considered valid and considered to be deliverable address. Okay, so that is how you can identify each specific whether it is a valid address or not, whether it will be deliverable address or not. So it will have this validated and enriched, right? It's not just validation, it's enrichment also based on the data you are putting, right? So this is okay. Let's move to the deck directly. Right, so we have seen batch based also, and within MDM SAS also how they are doing within from UI, and we have API based also, right? That is a REST-based API. So these are the processing modes. We have seen batch based, right? We have some certified countries also where we have some stricter like more strict rules and to give us more appropriate response with additional attributes, right? And interactive mode also, right, where you will type some kind of addresses and it will come up with the suggestions like these are the incorrect and correct like correct addresses, right, based on that. So these are again different types of processing modes we usually support, and what I've shown you is the batch and the MDM SAS mode. So how you can deploy, like I said, you can have the batch based that is activity location where we have using CDI mapping, data integration has shown you. You can have web service also. You can have like self-service portal also, right, where you can consume the data, right? So these are all supported deployment options and out of the box connectors for these primarily like most popular ERPs where cloud endpoints, right? So now we come over to our critical topic, that is email verification. That's again much more needed for marketing campaigns and everything, like how you can reach out to your customers. And just to tell you, going back to address validation, so this address validation is a must add if you are going for MDM enterprise implementation, right? Because the moment you have corrected and enriched addresses, you will get more accurate matches also. So that's the importance of this verifier, and you're not doing any kind of configuration. Only configuration I can show you which needs to be done in address verification. Let me open my screen and the administrator service. So this is a runtime environment. You have the secure agent over here, and yeah, so this is the system configuration details, and data DI server is must for running the data quality mapping, right? So this is the license file path where you will put like the license file, and this is a user defined location. Based on the license you have, all the reference data will get loaded into this location, the reference data files for each country, right? And you can have this full preload, partial in the memory, or you can also have like no preload. This all means all the reference data files will be loaded from S3 location to the secure agent location. of user customer hosted secure region, right? So this is again these are the settings. Only the settings are needed. That's it. No more coding configuration. That's it. The magic is done already by the address verifier. Okay, so we go to the screen itself. So this is see how critical was the address validation and enrichment. Both we are doing, and without this is like a quick jump start. No configuration. Very limited, right? So email verification. It's both things we are doing. We are not just checking whether the email is valid, whether domain is valid, whether a username is valid. We are even checking the hygiene of the email, whether it's a spam or some trap, right? So those again we have some verification status codes which we can see in this. Okay, so syntax checking, right? .com is there, @ even the username checking whether it is a correct username, domain checking whether it is a correct domain, whether it exists actually in the entire web ecosystem or not, right? So even real-time verification. Okay, so at the user level for specific domains. Okay, so that kind of again this is going. I mean everything at the back end. We are not configuring anything. You're just saying email verification. Just tick mark. That's it. Okay, so in the MDM SAS, and again we have deployment options. I'll show you how we are doing the email verification. After this, same we have web service based verification FTP area, right? So even same like addresses. Okay, so global phone verification. This is again more like much more critical than anyone thing. Like if we have to reach out to any customer, like in some kind of um, emergency, or even if you have to pitch in something, right? We can have this. Uh, we need to have the latest phone, if it is a landline or if it is if it is cell phone. So these are the kind of validation enrichment whether it will be a correct phone or not, right? So these are the output how the enrichment is being done based on the phone number it is provided, right? Which I'll show you also. Multiple formats we are supporting, and it transforms to a certain format or whatever input and configuration we are giving for phone. Again, we have multiple options for this, same like email, right? So we will show in the demo. Okay, let's see. I'll take you to the tool itself. Okay, now we again came to the C360 MDM SAS tool. I'm creating one more customer to show how we are doing the email and all the stuff, right? Dummy. Yeah, we just created, so that's why it's giving. But yeah, added on more. That's fine. We'll add some. Let me add a correct phone, but invalid email. Okay. Well, to show you how it is validating and enriching, and we'll have the email. And this is actually correct one, but add this. This is fine. If you want to add, you can add this, but this is not mandatory. Optional to do so. Saving this. Let's see. Once I submit it, I need to see whether it is validated or correct. Like email and phones are not, and what magic they are doing. So let's see. I go over here. to the email. See what it is saying, kamal@gmail.com. Definitely it's not a kamal@gmail.com. This is definitely it's not a good email. It's not, it's saying not verified, dangerous to me, right? And even spam trap can be there, right? So these are actually not good. And the moment I change it to a correct email address, it's still not changing. This status definitely must have been changed. Due to my screen size, this is not appearing, but yeah. Okay, so I will do. It's from 7@gmail.com. Now the status should be changed. Now let's see the status. So it should be now safe, right? Earlier it should be verified also. Email valid, right? Because I've given the correct address. So that's how this magic you can see, and behind the scenes how it is validating it, and whether it will tell whether it is a correct email address or not, domain. Lot of checkings are there. I've already shown you what type of checkings we are doing. Even I've given the correct phone number. It should have given these are some of the enrichments based on the nationality. It will give you like a valid number, reachable number is there. So this is how they are checking it, and it's the reference files which we are having. So this engine is auto updating based on the latest data what we are gathering from multiple data lakes and repositories, based on the country specific terms, right? So this is how we are going to utilize this specific data as a service tool, right? So I hope you have seen this you've seen this complete relevance of contact data enrichment and why you need this kind of data as a service tool or service within IDMC platform. I will not say tool, and it is completely, I would say, just plug and play. Okay, so no need of much configurations. Okay, and only thing, if I can show you what you have to do, it's so simple. I'm going to open my business 360 console. It opens. So this is actually the UI of MDM 360 SaaS, right? Dashboards, but yeah, multiple domains you can support. If I show you some more, trying to make you aware how the UI looks like. It's a comprehensive images also there, right? Network view, 360 view, so complete 360 UI of data. That's fine, like the relationships 360. But yeah, till the time it was opening, I was showing you is out of the topic. If I show you how you can, what configuration you need to do, and how complex or simple it is, just see from tool itself. I go over here. If I go to the addresses, I just need to say I need to do gas in real time. That's it. That's it. This is the mapping which it would be running. That's I've shown you source, verify, target, simple. Just specify the mapping. For phone, even you need just this real time, enable dash validation in real time. No batch option is there, But yeah, for MDM SAS, real-time option is still there, right? So you can have this kind of even warning messages, custom warning, right? You need if it is a wrong email address. So this is just only this configuration for utilizing, enabling your complete MDM application with just few clicks of email validation, phone validation, REST validation. This is as simple as I can think of, and in that from the tool, you don't have to do much. I mean, you can. So some of the references, I'll be adding more references from where I could gather this data. But yeah, this is the complete end-to-end contact data demo, which I want to show you. Okay, and so at the end, I just say, and with one slider, whichever like product managers definitely uses this slide, and why this why we did this demo, because trusted contact data you better, whether it's the only main I would say you can reach out to your digitally, you can reach out to your only digital mean, I should correct myself, you can reach out to your most important people, right? Can be customers, prospect, partners, right? So okay, I'm sure you must be having a lot of questions during on the task, how you can utilize and what services, license on batch-based email, like and what type of data it supports, how it downloads, where it downloads. You can type over the chat panel right now also, and we will answer you. We have our panelist like Akshita is there, myself would be there to answer your questions, and you can clarify your doubts. We still have few minutes, so no worries on that. But yeah, if you want to have a more more elaborative approach, like how you want to see the demo, then also you can reach out to me. I can share my email ID also. So we used to demo also. We have like complete sales stream also, which demo according to your use case, like a POC, right? So they do. So that's how we are proposing this service. And but thank you for joining.
Tayo, we have reached the Q&A part. Please post your questions. Do we have any more questions? We'll be closing the session in the next 5 minutes. Please post the questions. Right, we are not seeing questions. We will end the webinar. Thank you, Kamal and Akshita, for presenting today's webinar. We kindly request audience to take up survey and give us feedback once this webcast ends. Today's webinar will be available tomorrow on Success Portal under the Resources tab. Thank you all for attending.